What's happening, people? I'm Ivy, and you're at Ivy Vibes. And today we are looking at the Four of Pentacles. And so, spiritually, this card is asking you to examine where um, fear is making you hold on too tight. There's, excuse me, there's a teaching here about trust and flow. I feel like I'm in that phase right now. So it's like when you grip everything out of fear or of loss, you block natural circulation of abundance, like people wanting to always save, 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 and never releasing anything. Um, you end up losing instead of gaining what you actually think that you're going to gain. So the spiritual lesson is about security and like coming from within, not from, external things that you can control or possess. So it's understanding that real stability isn't built by clutching, what you have. It's built through faith that you're supported and that there's enough always. And that's something that you could tell yourself, every day, that you always have enough. So this card, tends to often appear when you're being called to release a scarcity mindset and step into one that's more abundant and having more of an abundant consciousness about you. You might be holding on to relationships, jobs, beliefs, or literally resources past their season because letting go feels too risky. And so it becomes exhausting by, gripping and holding on because you're feeling like you're keeping what's best for you, but you're really not allowing yourself to have something that ultimately could be better for you. So practical advice here would be take inventory of what you're holding on to, where you're operating from when looking at if you are operating from a place of fear and loss rather than faith in what's possible, and start small practices, by loosening your grip, um, and share something, delegate like responsibility, let someone else help you, spend money on something that nourishes you instead of just hoarding it. Work on your relationship with money and resources practically by creating a budget, that includes both security and joy. Allow yourself to spend some money on something that you like, not just deprivation. Build actual financial stability through smart planning, but don't let, fear run the show. um, Understand that the real work is learning to give and receive freely while still being responsible. You can, be financially wise without being controlled by fear. And open your hands just enough to let energy flow through them and not stay stuck in them. This is one of those things where Muslims have this saying where they pray with their hands open, where Christians pray with their hands together. And the thing that I was told is that how can you receive anything if your hands are always closed? You have to have your hands open so you can give and receive. I know even like with, there's stories in the Bible that talk about the one guy, I can't remember his name, the king, and how he bragged about, everything that he had built up, letting these people come in, and they looked and they saw, and while he was asleep, I think, or he was either asleep or away, something like that, the people came and I think they came while he was asleep, and they took all his stuff, all his treasures that he had stored up, um, and they burnt the place down, I believe, or they killed him. Something happened like that. I'll have to give y'all the exact story another time. But the point is, he was storing up everything so much to the point where he ended up losing it because he didn't share. He didn't share. And I know, like, when my grandmother was alive, she had like a whole basement full of all these canned goods and was just stock up, stock up, stock up. And what we had to do was go through the canned goods and throw out what was expired, because you're storing up so much that you don't realize that you're actually, without using that stuff that you have stored up and giving it, making use of it, it's wasteful. You stagnate the energy. That's why they say that it's not good to just save. You need to have your money in circulation, because that's the way that energy works. You have money that flows out, and then it opens you up to money that flows in, and even opportunities. So hopefully, this is something that if you are going through this, that you will be able to take a good look at yourself and see the way that you are operating so that you can change it.